Time Women, unfiltered and seasoned with your girl, Cassandra. Hold on, I'm getting my other camera ready, y'all. Do not own the rights to any of the music. Do not own the rights to any music. I do not own the rights to any music. I do not own the rights to any music. I do not own the rights. I do not. All right, let's see. All right, let's get it going here. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello to Primetime Women, unfiltered and seasoned, baby, with your girl Cassandra. Hello, it's Thursday, April 16th. Yes, it is. Happy birthday to all those Aries out there. Not forgetting you, even though my birthday's in May next month. Hey, and I'm a Gemini. So what's up to everybody? Happy birthday for all of you. I am so excited to be here. So let's get going here. Let's get it going. Let me get my notes on. All right, let's see. I'm going to open up the chat, so give me just a moment, y'all. I'm operating a few things. Open up the chat. Hello. I'm here. All right. There we go. Hey, Roberta, baby. How you doing? Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Gateway to the weekend. Yes, yes, yes. One more day left, baby. I don't know if you're working or not, but we are here. We are here. Let's see. Looks like I am showing on from Primetime in YouTube. Okay, Riverside, I got it. So I'm going to pop in and we'll just see. Roberta, are you on Cassandra's page or are you on Primetime Women page? Oh, that's beautiful. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday. I'm loving it. Happy birthday, Maya. Happy birthday, happy birthday. All right, I'm in now. Let's get it. Let me just turn this down a little bit, y'all. Get that down just a little bit. I don't want to drown out. And y'all, I'm operating quite a few things, just so you know, all at once. I'm doing it all. Hold on. Let's get that volume going back. Okay. There we go. I love it. I love that. Good. I'm wonderful. It's here. Got it. Okay, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here. I'm so happy. So, we are, I'm sorry. Okay. So, we got a couple of different things that we are going to be talking about today, y'all. Okay, Sandy's page. I know I got, remember I told you I got 3 pages, Facebook pages. I got Cassandra Dotson, strategist, consultant, and then Primetime Women. So that's why I was asking. It's all good. Because I am recording this actually from Primetime Women, but I'm looking at YouTube and Okay, Deborah's on YouTube. Okay. So far, that's what I'm seeing. So everyone is here and not. So you're on prime time too, Roberta, just so you know. And I think that I'm supposed to be on my Cassandra Dotson, my main one that I'm always on. So where you normally see me, you're gonna switch over, Roberta, because I'm gonna switch over. Okay? Gonna switch over. Give me a second. Hey girl, I see you here. Okay, let's see. Okay. See, here we go. You guys give me 1 second. Okay, there we are. We are back. Okay. Let's go. Hey, y'all. Okay, so we've got a couple of good things that we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be chopping it up on some stuff some people don't really like to talk about, but we're gonna get into it tonight. Y'all. We're getting into it. So first thing, first agenda. We are going to be cutting through all the noise, y'all. All the noise. Let me put this flash on it. Is the flash on there? Yeah. Flash is just not very good right now. We're going to be cutting through all the noise about high value men and women, because that applies to both. It's not just about men, you guys. It's men and women. I forget I got this here today. Okay. We've been told that value is about cars and watches and how pretty she is and how she dresses. But the real value is all in the mindset. The mindset. Hey, I see you. You're over there. Okay. The mindset. Like, is he or she a man or a woman who is building a future? Or is he or she just comfortable in the current cycle? So you ask, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, today we're talking about the growth mindset versus the stagnant one, you guys. Because it can apply to men and women. You know, there's women that become very stagnant and don't know how to move forward and all the above, and vice versa. And so this is going to apply to both. So if you hear me from time to time saying a man, forgive me, I'm referring to both, okay? And so the stagnant man, and how to tell if he's growing with you or just holding you back. Women. Really. We have got to stop falling in love with a man's potential. Happens all the time, doesn't it? Or a woman. See, Again, this is going to apply both ways. It's not one or the other. This is both. Because I think sometimes there's women out there that get it twisted thinking that they need to find them this high value man, but yet they're not in that space yet to even have a high value man. So, oh, okay, I see. I got you. Wherever you're comfortable, rock with it there. Wherever you're comfortable. And so I say to that is start looking at someone's pattern and actions, right? Because we get everything else, but we sort of gloss over or overlook actions and patterns. And if you've been with somebody long enough, you know exactly what I'm referring to, because if they haven't, if there's something that's been bugging you and you've been hoping that there could be some type of change happening, that's really what you want more than anything, right? So you have to start looking at those things, because you got to look at, is he or she comfortable? What is really, what's really going on? Because you being in the situation, got to know that you see if you're on a move and trying to do something and this person is actually not doing anything or not interested in doing anything or unsupportive to you making those moves that you're actually making, there's that. I see you, Roberta. Let's see. Yep, I see you. I see you. I see you. And so, it's like stuck in that little neutral zone that, sometimes people get comfortable and then they just don't have any real goals. And I don't say in our age group do you really have to have goals. Long as you are at a place where your career is good and everything else that's going on around you is right, and you're both moving in that direction. She wants to start pursuing something, or maybe he wants to start pursuing something, but you're in your career and that career works real well for you and you're not looking to move from that particular situation, other than growth maybe within that company. But at the same token, you need to be able to support your person that is actually going through that transition. That's actually being able to allow that person to recognize that you see them and what's really going on, and because it's what they're looking to do, you got to support it, right? Growth mindset. He or she sees failure as feedback. When he or she messes up in his or her career or relationship, he or she asks, what can I learn from this? And takes accountability. She usually uses the power of yet, as in, I haven't mastered this yet, right? But the stagnant part of that, whether you're a woman or man, is the blame shifting and excuses. If he or she loses their job, it's the boss's fault. If the relationship is rocky, it's your fault. If he or she believes his or her traits are fixed and unchangeable, meaning, well, this is just who I am and I'm not changing for anybody. I'm going to stay this way. Well, that's kind of what you're going to be working with. And you got to know and understand, because I try to tell people all the time, love is not enough to sustain a relationship. And I don't care what it is, it's not enough You have got to have great communication. You've got to be able to accept the other's growth. Maybe one is growing a little slower than the other. That's fine. But you've got to be willing to accept that in that light. Now, if you see that this person is unchangeable and is not looking to move or any of that stuff, then that should tell you something right there. That should tell you that they're not interested in making a change, and nothing that you are actually saying or doing is actually changing that. And you can't change that. So when I say that to you, that's something that is definitely a meaningful thing. I don't know why this keeps doing this. It's saying I was live 15 minutes ago, but it won't. It keeps putting me done. Keeps putting me done. And I don't know why it's doing that. No? Okay. Yeah, something went wrong with your live broadcast. Please try again. Yeah, I don't know. This is why I have backup in different places, you guys, because you never know which one is actually working and which one is not. And I don't know why that it's not. It's just being really weird. I'm going to try it one more time, and then I'm going to just continue on. So either they're here or they're not. Okay, so this one is popping back. So, as I was saying, a growth mindset, a person values process and work, right? Over just being naturally good at things. He isn't afraid to be a beginner at something new, or she. A stagnant person is often arrogant, believing that he already knows everything. No. It's so. I have always done another Roberta on the phone, but it's not. Yeah, no. Just stay right here. Stay right here at me. So often, a person can be very arrogant, believing that they already know, everything. They know everything. They don't want to hear. And I know a little something about that, because I was with somebody that was always his way or the highway. And that was very annoying all in itself. I mean, he would never say it to me, but that was like his little trademark thing that people knew him for. And at some point you got to realize for yourself, is that something that you're willing to continue to put up with? Or is it something that you really need to maybe stop and think about? And it's, it's always scary when it's something new or uncomfortable that you have to deal with. But the facts are, you have to deal with it. And the more you don't, the further it becomes a bigger issue. And, as grown people now, I say people should be able to end on a good note. If you're just not going in the same direction, you're just not going in the same direction, right? So you got to really be mindful of it, and not being like in lackadaisical la-la land about it. You got to really look and evaluate. Sometimes we get caught up in everything else, but not going to the core of what is and what isn't good for us. You're going to have that hard conversation. Absolutely, you're going to have it. And some people don't want to have it, and they'd rather pretend or
just allow it to keep going on until then you finally have had enough. And then, see, I remember going through the whole thing and trying to explain that for me this ain't popping. Like, you know, there was an age difference. So one person is growing and one person is not growing. That's right. Then there's a problem. There's a major problem that's happening. So, yeah. Yeah, so 100%. And so, improvements would be the person is listening, obviously, like I said, to your needs and actually adjust their behavior over time, being that they've heard it. But if they're in that stagnant and non-growth place, then they're going to be very defensive and they avoid the difficult conversations. They avoid them. They'd rather keep the peace, like I was just saying. They'd rather keep the peace than to do the hard work of changing a toxic habit or behavior, right? And so, how many of you guys out here have actually stayed with the stagnant person because you fell in love with the potential instead of reality? Anybody? Anyone? Because I know it happens. I know it's happened. You know, I said, you know, even myself, I definitely know, but you know, it took me a minute, but by the time I became so grown, I knew exactly what I needed to do. So there was a whole deal with that. Or if you have been in one, what happened last time when you gave them honest feedback? Did they say thank you and they will try to improve, or did you just get shut down? Which, you know what I mean? Let's see, Ferguson. Definitely happened. I just don't stay. Yep, absolutely. You know, another thing is, does you or he or she have anything in their life that they're currently bad at but trying to learn? No, maybe. Because a person who refuses to be a student, that's really someone that has actually stopped growing. So I think we all, no matter what age we are, we can all learn and still grow from things. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And as much as I do know, again, I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And I think that's the beautiful part of life, is that's what happens. And when you get stuck, that's just not a good thing for you, you know, or the relationship that you may be in. The accountability pivot. When things go wrong, is it the first instinct to look in the mirror and point fingers? You know, these are all the things. Men and women, you have to learn to protect your own growth mindset while dating someone or being in a relationship. It doesn't matter. And you must view your development as a non-negotiable anchor, meaning that exists completely independently of your relationship. It's like non-negotiable. Like someone can't tell you what you can and can't try to do, or really you're looking to try to jump into something else, and instead of them actually being in your corner, you know, they got, you know, sarcastic remarks and things of that nature going down, right? So, you know, it's that whole thing, it's protecting your spark so you don't dim your light, so to speak, right? It's protecting your spark so that you don't dim your light and become, one of those that's lost in the shuffle. Because unfortunately, so many of us actually do. We become very lost in the shuffle. And can be. We get absorbed by our mate. And if our mate is stagnant, we can find ourselves being stagnant and not doing anything. So, and that's a real thing. You know, it's called follow the leader. But the leader ain't really leading in the direction that needs to be led. And you haven't opened up your eyes or mind enough to actually really, truly get that, and understand that this person is stagnant and why am I still here? Again, I told you guys last week, it doesn't matter if you've been with somebody for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, doesn't matter. If it isn't working and you see that you're trying to progress yourself and grow and this person is holding you down or being sarcastic about what you're trying to do and all those kind of things, that's just not the right person for you. And it doesn't matter, male and or female, I'm talking. Okay? So this ain't one-sided. Because like I said, there are females that think that they deserve all of this, but when you look in their closet of what they got going on, it's merely nothing. And so you're asking someone of value to be there with you, but you aren't bringing anything to the table. Now, how does that happen? Some people just become complacent or content, with their at, and yes, yes, they're just not growing at the time, but it doesn't mean that they can't start growing. I think it stops. Absolutely. And that's my whole point. So you got to know, and you got to be able to ask the hard questions of that particular thing. Like, hey, listen, I feel like that I'm trying to do this, and I feel like you're trying to, you're not being very supportive. You're being sarcastic. You're saying things. All of those things. You have to be able to open that mouth and be able to say it. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself stuck in something that doesn't make sense. Something that's not really working. It's just habit. And what's the point of it? What's the whole point? I believe that me time is very important. I don't have to worry about that because I'm at home all day, and so when mine get home, I'm so happy to see them because I've been home working all day alone with just dealing with people on here like Zoom, right? And so, but the same thing, whether scheduling me time daily, whether it's the gym, reading, or a hobby, and treat it with the same respect as a work meeting, right? So it prevents emotional fusion where you lose your sense of self and start adopting your partner's slow pace or lack of ambition. That's just what I was just saying, right? I have my notes here, but when I start going, it's already sitting there. Yeah, exactly. Nice to say it, don't say nothing. Yep. So, and the reason why, like I said, because it prevents all of that, and you also, again, you don't lose yourself at all and start adopting the slow pace or the lack of ambition of your partner. So keeping your own is always going to be very good for you. If your partner doesn't want you to do what you're trying to do, then yeah, we need to have a discussion to find out why it's a problem. Exactly, that's what I said. It's like you have to find out why would that be a problem for you. Me trying to grow. I've got something that I got going on, and I need to know exactly why. And it's the same thing, like I'm saying. So if your partner isn't at your emotional depth or your growth level yet, sometimes also on the flip side is don't force them to be your only source of growth talk. Like, and again, that's what I said, lean on friends and other things like that. But it's basically, it's like stop asking, a fish to climb a tree. You know what I mean? Is that going to ever happen? Is a fish going to ever climb a tree? There's some people that say this is the way I am and I'm never going to change. My way or the highway or blah, 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 blah. You better listen to what they're telling you. You better hear what they're saying to you. And at that point, you really need to make your decisions. And some partners, it may be a problem financially. And maybe you're trying to do something that's gonna bankrupt us, and I'm not for that. Yeah, I get that too. But usually that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking, starting a different career. I'm talking things of that nature. I'm not talking about taking your 401k plan and sticking it into this big idea venture that you just come up with. I'm talking about whether you may be thinking about moving. You've been in the state that you've lived in. Hey, baby, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. They say sometimes your partner notices stagnant behavior. Yep, before you do, yep. And it's up to you to make a bigger move. I love that. Absolutely, 100%. And that's exactly what I'm getting at, because it could be good, or it can not be. And again, if you're not willing to take that plunge and talk about it, right, then maybe it doesn't seem to be as important as you portray it to be, right? Because you choose not to talk about it. So it's going to be very important to talk about it, because it can lead to resentment for the both of you. Seriously, if one is doing something and is doing all these big moves, and next thing you know, you're going out and you're doing events and meetings and luncheons and things of that nature, and if it becomes a problem, because this is what you're doing. Here I go, y'all. I'm having a hot flash, and I have to turn my fan on. Lord have mercy. Woo. Oh, goodness. Yes, Lord. Okay. Hot flash, hot flash. Yes, if you want it to work, that's right. Hot flash, hot flash. And again, that comes with growth boundaries. That's also boundaries aren't just for keeping, people out and, this is what it's supposed to be, right? They are the rules of engagement for how people treat your time and your goals. So boundaries is a big deal. Like I said, if a partner mocks you, your new diet that you're trying, right, belittles your promotion, you're so excited you got your promotion, but for them, they belittle it. Guilt trips you from spending time on a course, they are trespassing on your growth. That's what that's coming down to. It's just, it really, leading by example, like Dre was saying, leading by example. Sometimes you have to lead by example in order to get the things moving, get the ball rolling. You have to lead by example. You can only change yourself. You cannot change another person. But you can certainly spark some energy in there. You can spark something to make something happen. Yeah, it's important for the partners to support you, even if they're not doing anything. Yeah, they can support you and what you're doing exactly, and that's basically what I'm saying. So even if they're in their career and they're set and they're good with that, and you're not looking to do anything differently, but you're looking to maybe change your career or whatever that may be, you, your mate should be able to support you without mocking you or teasing you, and things of that nature. So, it can be a whole lot, but your decisions aren't supposed to make sense to anybody but yourself, on what you end up doing. And again, so long as it's not getting your family's house in debt, right? But it's an adventure that you're looking to maybe switch a position within the company that you've been in, which is going up higher. It's something that you actually want to do. So that's what you would do, right? I say save your energy for living your life, not defending it. Okay? Save your energy for living your life, not defending it. Because if you don't save your energy, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? So you just gotta really know, and be willing to trust yourself and what you actually really want, and just being able to discuss it. Because if you can't do that, there's gonna be a problem. Has anybody ever felt like they've had to hide a win? Meaning something that you have been successful on, but you don't really want to share with your partner because you don't think that they would appreciate that. They may make fun of it or mock it. You know what I mean? I've heard that before. I've definitely heard that before. Where a person has been mocked, like, oh, that ain't nothing. I thought you were gonna say that, you got promoted to this position. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's kind of knocking on your esteem. That's kind of hitting that hammer, little by little at you. And you got to watch that, because that is the first thing that can take you down. You start feeling like, well, maybe I shouldn't. You know what I mean? How do you know when you're being patient versus when you're being pulled down? You know the difference? How do you know when you're being patient versus being pulled down? Anybody? Because that is... Anybody? How do you know when you're being patient versus being pulled down? If you have stopped asking for his or her opinion on your goals, would you still have the fire to achieve them? That's another one that I'm asking y'all. Yeah, Roberta said, yeah, if you're doing, if you're doing a lot and you got wins after wins after wins, and the partner's not doing anything different, they may feel jealous of you, absolutely. But they shouldn't feel jealous of you. They should be very supportive and happy for you. It's win after win after win, because your win is their win. You see? Your win is their win. That win is for everybody. That win is for everybody. And she said, that would be a problem because you don't want to compete with your partner and envy or be jealous of them because they're making moves. Right, but that shouldn't be a problem. That should not ever be a problem, because again, your win is their win. Okay? If you're winning, they're winning. If you're a true couple, if you're winning, your mate is winning. That's how that should roll. So you should never feel in behind what your mate is doing. Dre says when disagreements happen and the other has lost faith in you. When disagreements happen and other, yep, has lost faith in you. Yeah, like really. Um, and you got to remember that there should never be. That's something that I can say I've never experienced is jealousy within a relationship because I'm doing this and he's content with his job and what he's doing. I'm a person that I'm always trying to dabble into different things and start new things up. Sometimes they succeed and sometimes they fail. But that's part of my makeup and who I am. And so, well, yes, and a perfect world, that's the way it would be. But sometimes partners compete with each other and become competitive. That's true. That's silly, especially at our age. There's no reason to compete. We're both at a certain point in our lives that we should be far removed from being competitive towards each other. Now, if we're in the gym maybe and we're doing something like that, yeah, I can see that. But as far as in life, yeah, no, that's silly to me. There should be no reason for that. If I'm winning, he's winning. If he's winning, I'm winning. We're winning together. Like, we're winning together as one. So, that to me is weird. That's not considered to me in a perfect world. That is to me should be the normal world. And what that is, yeah, your partner should be happy for the growth and what's happening. Because again, I can't stress it enough. If you're winning, they're winning. Period, bottom line, point blank. You're both winning. So embrace it, accept it, and move on with it. Because the hard realization of it all is, like I said, sometimes love isn't enough to bridge a lifestyle and a mindset gap. It's not enough. Love is not going to carry it. It's not going to sustain it. It's not going to do it. In a relationship, a growth gap is natural for a season. One person is in school while the other person is working, or whatever it may be. But when it becomes a permanent divide, it turns into the rational drag of it all. And so, and that's where the divide comes in. Here's how to know when the gap has become a canyon, okay? Roberta said, you will be surprised how many couples compete against each other, hate on each other, and have, toxic, yeah. Well, that's what I would call that. That's not being in a good relationship. That's being in a habitual relationship. That's being in a toxic relationship. That's been in a relationship that you've been in for a long time, and you're choosing to keep that instead of realizing that, who wants to be competing with their partner on every level? Like, who wants to do that? And why would you want to do that? So to me, that should let you know that you're already with the wrong person, because that mindset should not enter into play. That mindset should not be there. That mindset should be already shifted to we as one. We're doing things. If she's doing something good, that's great. I'm right there supporting her. If he's doing something great, that's great. I'm right there supporting. But to turn around and be going back and forth in a competition, that is absolutely insane at our age. Yeah, exactly, right? Hey, Janice, yeah. Who wants to compete with their partner when you're in a relationship? There's no competing. To me, that's crazy. No, I wouldn't want to do that. I'm just saying, devil's advocate answering the question. I get it, but I'm just saying that in a healthy relationship, in a good communicative relationship, that this is what you get. You get goodness. You get support. You get all of those things. If you're two selfish people in a relationship, you're in it all for the wrong reasons. And you're competing against each other for what reason? What are you gaining from competing in your relationship? You're not going to gain anything. If anything, somebody's going to eventually come to being like having a whole lot of resentment going down. So I think that's a surefire way to build up for a no good relationship at all. Okay, at all. So we're gonna move on from that. I think we've had enough, and I really want to get into what I call the big elephant. Hold on, y'all, for 1 second. Give me 1 second. 1 second. For the really big elephant in the room, because I'm going to be jealous. I'm going to be in jealousy in a relationship, and when it becomes jealousy in a relationship, then there comes absolutely rebellion, resentment, all the above. All the above, you guys. Okay, so here we go. We're going to move on. We're going to transition. And we're going to talk about something that is, I believe, is a huge elephant in the room for many, 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 many couples. And I know this for a fact, that it is a big, huge elephant in the room. So we've been talking about high value men and women, and who has business and orders and all these different things. But we're gonna get into something right now. What happens when the one thing that a person can't control? Hold on. What happens when the one thing he can't control starts to fail? I'm talking about health, you guys. I'm talking about health. See, specifically health, but it also rolls all the way into the bedroom. Let's see here, because here's this. I'm going to say this before I really get into it. Because a man of true value isn't just high value, or a woman, but when everything is working, he or she shows his or her worth by how they handle it when things go wrong. And wrong like ED. Now, we're going past the pill, because this is deeper than that. This is deeper, and this is the big elephant in the room, because I know couples are not discussing this. I think people are very shy and have a hard time of trying to figure out how to discuss it. But here's facts, guys. You know, we're all older. Things happen. Every day is not a perfect day. Let me get back to the chat. My bad. Hold on here. Let me get back to the chat. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So, let me break it down to you guys, because this is interesting to me. So, did you know nearly 52% of men over 40 faces some type of form of ED? So you're not alone in the struggle. Did you know that, I'm going to skip a page, because there is actually, I want to get deeper into this statistic, because I was really amazed by the statistic on the age. You know, this starts happening in 20s and 30s as well. This is not just something because I'm going to tell you why. So everybody blames it on, your age. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. Here it is. It is more common than most people realize, affecting about 20% of men under 30, 40% of men in their 40s, and roughly 60% of men in their 50s. True or false, real quick. True or false, guys? Um, do, um, answer it if you think, if you were listening to me to begin with. Edie is always about age. Is that true or false? True or false? Anybody, true or false? Hello, hello, hello. True or false, guys? Anybody? Edie is about age. Anybody? Well, it's false. It is not. It can actually affect men as young as 20 due to stress or lifestyle, like I said. So now I'm going to come on back to it. So we as women, and I can tell you, I was part of this until I realized that I wasn't. Let's see. Hold on here. What did she say? Understanding with the partner and think something's created to do it, it's going to happen. Okay, we don't marry our partners just for exactly. I have to have substance in your relationships besides. Absolutely. Okay, so here we go though. So most that are in this situation right now, I'm telling you right now, you may misinterpret it and thinking that he is not attracted to you anymore, or it's a personal rejection, or that your partner is cheating. No. Let me assure y'all. Let me assure you. Thank you, Janice. Thank you for answering that. Absolutely false. Let me truly reassure y'all that ED is usually a physical or psychological health issue, not a reflection of their desirability. It's not about you. Women often suffer in silence, feeling disconnected or even suspecting infidelity when a partner withdraws. Address the common trap where a woman thinks, is it me? Is he not attracted to me anymore? It really doesn't have anything to do with you. It really doesn't. And I can tell you that I know that. I learned that back in my first husband marriage deal. I understood that it had nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with me at all. But the problem is, yes, you have to be. Yes, Renee, you have to be. Being honest, that yes, you have to be. But I think so many of us pretend that it doesn't exist. Yes, Deborah, false, thank you. But so many people, I think, try to pretend like it doesn't exist. Because it doesn't kill the relationship. The silence about the ED kills the relationship. So when people don't want to discuss it and bring it about and talk about it, that's when it is becoming a problem. When you stop talking about it and it starts becoming, and you start becoming, a roommate, essentially, and I can tell you that's what happened with me. I let it go. Became a roommate for 3 years, and then I finally said I'm out of here. It is rarely about lack of attraction. It is often a check engine light, y'all. It's frequently an early warning sign for conditions like for underlying physical issues like heart disease, high blood pressure, or diabetes. So these are typically And they say that you get about a 3-year engine check light come on before you end up having a heart attack or stroke. So that check engine, so if there is a little bit of that going on, that is merely just a check engine light. And what you need to do is encourage your mate to go to the doctors. You know, encourage them and go with them if you need to. If that will help, you know, encourage it. Because we as seasoned couples, we have to be able to have these conversations. Had a stroke. Oh, yeah, okay, wow. Yep. Okay, wow, okay. Renee says, being honest sounds like me and I had a stroke. Okay, see, and that's the thing. So people don't want to talk about it, recognize it, hear it. And it's something that is so preventable. It is something so preventable. It's just going to doctors and getting your blood checked, being checked for high blood pressure, being checked for heart disease, being checked for, you know, diabetes. It's blood work. It's all it is. It's blood work. And you know, and I would say this to you guys. This is something that you should never want to approach in your bedroom, because this needs to be a conversation where you're light and airy. You know what I mean? Maybe you're out eating lunch or something, somewhere that is far removed from there. And I love your honesty, Renee. I love your honesty on this. I really, truly do. I wish that there were more that would be honest about it. I really do. And I really appreciate you for being honest. Janice says, yes, that check engine light is serious. When you're driving your car and then come on, don't want to go take your car to the shop and get it fixed or get it checked out. And that's the same, yep, and next thing you know, it's the same thing, that's right. And that's the same what we should do to our bodies. And I know, and I am one of them, have to stop eating fried foods and stuff like that, because high cholesterol is a serious thing. Absolutely, 100%, Janice. That's why I say sometimes, you guys, we got to take a break from things too, you know, like I went into like about a 30-day, and I'm still actually pretty darn good with it. I've been trying to maintain maybe 1 day a week that I will have like something to do with bread. But I put the potatoes and the rice and the bread down. This is how I'm getting into myself again, because I had to let it go. I knew that was not working for me. Renee says, I want this to be a wake-up call for all black men and women. I appreciate that. Me too. Seriously, a wake-up call. And that's why I thought this was a really great subject, because I've learned actually, just from talking to people, that there are more and more people, men, that are actually dealing with this, and men that are being very receptive to going to the doctors and having it checked out. I know of 3, and now I know you, so 4 that have been receptive to going and being checked out. So I think it's very important. And you got to also know, which I know you know, and you can comment on this, Renee, but you deal with the psychological part of it too, right? That vicious cycle. Once a man has failed the encounter, he often develops performance anxiety. You know, the fear of it happening again triggers that fight or flight nervous system, right? Which physically prevents that erection from actually occurring. So you also don't want to be a nagging person to your mate as far as what's happening and what's going on. Janice says, that's one of my main things I've got to let go is bread. Yep. I am a bread lover and kind of bread I love eat. Girl, me too, child. Me too. Me too. Me too, Janice. Yes, and I eat honey wheat, right? But still, I had to let it go, and I did it for the whole month of March, and then I've been still now I will like been trying to eat just like maybe one time a week if I need to have like a sandwich or something like that, a hamburger. So I've been allowing myself, but I've really backed down from it because, I realized that that's what was holding a lot of my weight that I had. It was much of that because I was eating that at least 3, 4 times a week between bread, shit, with bread 4, 5, 6 times a week. But potatoes and rice between the two, yeah. Um, Sourdough, you know, it depends because I've had sourdough on an actual sandwich before, and that wasn't too bad. I think it just kind of depends on what it is, but that's not bad. Sourdough bread to me is not really bad. Um, but this can be the silent killer, truly, you guys, in a relationship. Because men do often withdraw emotionally to avoid the shame or the failed encounter, don't want to talk about it, and just try to just let it go. Um, but the trap is now this is a trap. So even if he stops initiating like touch and cuddling, um, because it will lead to sex. You may really want to have the conversation because you need to let him understand that that's not your intent. Because we've talked about this before. You can use this. Yes. We've talked about this before. Make sure you fast. That brings your close. Yep. Yep. Make sure you fast. That brings you closer to God. Absolutely. Um, 7-day cleanses. If anybody's ever been on here, they know I've done 7-day cleanses. I've done a 30-day cleanse before, and that means strictly all water, no juice, no soda, no alcohol. The only thing that I didn't give up was my marijuana, and but everything else was given up. Okay, everything else. Um, Roberta said, as far as potatoes and rice, get purple rice and some purple potatoes. Yep, and Deborah said, yep, tortillas are good. Yep, I do those too. I do the tortillas too. But you got to watch certain ones on those as well because they can actually be high in, I think it's the cholesterol part of it. Renee said, me as well. So as I was telling you guys, studies suggest that for many men, the E-date can precede a major cardiovascular event, like a heart attack or stroke, by the average of 3 years. So that check engine light you've been going with having that problem for 3 years and not being checked, your chances for having a stroke or heart attack is going to be extremely high. Extremely high. Yes, turmeric and ginger. Yep, it's very good. Anybody take a shot of apple cider vinegar at night? That's actually good. It helps your digestive system kind of work through it while you're sleeping. Also, a good shot of olive oil. You can put olive oil, you can put it, if you eat yogurt, you can actually mix it right in there. You don't even realize it. I actually do that sometimes. But I'll just take a spoonful of it and let it go. Girl, that was my child. She said, Jenna said, I got to give up my ginger ale. Yeah. See, if soda's in the house for me, it's a bad thing because I will fuck it up. Okay? I will fuck it up. It needs not to be in the house because I prefer to just drink water. and every now and again have some type of juice. I always keep juice and sweet tea in the house. But I try to focus and drink water. 90% of my day is consumed of water. Probably actually 95 is consumed of water from the time I wake up to bedtime. And I wake up in the middle of the night for water. So it's one of those things for me. Janice said corn tortillas are the best ones to eat and it does not mess your... I love that. Okay. All right. So that'll be something I'll definitely will tap into. It says up to 75 to 90% of men with diabetes will experience some degree of ED due to the nerve and blood vessels damage caused by high blood pressure. And so age and prevalence, it is more common than most realize, affecting about 20%, like I told you guys earlier, 20% of men under 30, 40% of men in their 40s, and 60% of men in their 50s. You hear that? 50%. And so, if he won't go to the doctors, tell him to go for y'all. Tell him to go for the both of y'all, and that should get him there. If he cares about the relationship, that should get him there. Even if you need to go with him, would you go to the urologist appointment? Would somebody go to the urologic just appointment with your mate to show support? Renee said I had to wear a heart monitor, but God stepped in. I'm slowly changing my diet. I got my son doing some of my guy as well. Things like that, running my family. Yeah, see, it's very important. Very, very. So the statistics doesn't really apply to women, Roberta, because this is, ED is more of a physical thing. When we talk about us, it's going to get into menopause and how your body inside is functioning, meaning some women become dry. Some women, it becomes hurtful. They don't even want to have sex anymore because it becomes hurtful. It doesn't have anything to do with your cardiovascular system or any of that for women. So the statistics for that is completely different. You have to look at why in menopause your sex drive gets taken away. Some women, it becomes very, it feels horrible to have sex. And it feels like they're on pins and needles being stuck into them. Oh, yes, no. That'll be another topic, because if I did that, baby doll, we'll be here for 2 hours. So that's on my agenda for next week. We're going to be discussing women, heart attacks, strokes, high cholesterol, things of that nature for us as well, because there's a whole lot of that. I know a lot of women with high blood pressure. I know women that have had strokes because of high blood pressure. I know that it is definitely out there too for women, high cholesterol, diabetes, all of the above. And the statistics are actually high. And in fact, statistics, which I know without even having to look up anything, statistics are very high for women, and especially black women in itself right now. Very prevalent in colon cancer at this moment. Hold on, Renee said, I've been through a lot. I'm a cancer survivor. I had a stroke, dealt with depression, and I'm making sure my son maintains a healthy diet and life by all means necessary. I love that. Well, I'm going to say, yes, and I understand that being a survivor too. I'm a cancer survivor myself. I understand it completely. I get it. I went through depression. It's not, things are not easy. And sometimes people don't see, they may see you, but they don't see you and realize that you've actually have gone through a lot of things, right? And And sometimes the support falls short because we sometimes don't initiate that by letting other people know. I know that I have, between my fiance and my good friend Kimberly, like, she knows me. It's like she can call me and she has just felt that there's something going on, and it's instant. Some women become very intense, and some women become decreased when it comes to sex. Yes, exactly. Going through menopause. I asked my doctor yesterday when I went through like a routine. I asked her how would. Okay, and would be amazed that she told me that a woman can do to know that they still feel some desires down below. Some women, because they're very intense, and when it comes to sex going through menopause, I asked my doctor yesterday yes, okay, yes, okay. I asked my doctor, okay. I asked, how would you know if you still have the fire burning if you haven't had sex in a while? And you will be amazed at what she told me, that what a woman can do to know that they still feel some desire. Absolutely. I deal with things better when I have peace. Absolutely. I agree with that too. And it's very true. It's very true. There's some women that sexual energy goes high to the sky, and some just lose it completely. Mine, I must say, is high to the sky. I have not gone and had any kind of hormonal anything. And so maybe that's why I deal with a little bit more of the hot flashes, but I'm okay with that. After I've been through and dealing with men, I still have, yep, okay, I like that, okay, I love that, yep, okay, after all the, yep, I've been through and dealing with men, I still have, okay, that's wonderful. You see, so you never know. Everybody is going to hit everybody differently and everything. And the statistics is, yes, it's very high, Roberta, when it comes to black women, especially with cancer, with ovarian cancer, with breast cancer, ovarian cancer. The colon cancer has become something that has snuck up amongst the 30 to 40-year-old group. And it's really hitting and targeting black women. Well, I know now that my desire for sex is still there. It ain't going nowhere. I love it. Absolutely. You know, and it's just, you know, there's all kinds of things. You know, people are, you know, the men have been so quick to, instead of going to get it checked, they are quick to take that Viagra, that Cialis, you know, the blue pill. They're quick to take that, but I say go and get your blood checked out first. Get your blood checked out first, because that tells you a whole lot. And you don't want to be taking a pill, and the next thing you know, you done had a heart attack in the middle of having sex, because it's been festering, and it was ready to explode. And that pill was the one thing that actually did it. So I would definitely say to people, do not just go and bypass and get the pill without going to the doctor. You need to go to the doctors first, and then if once everything is checked, if that's something that may be needed, then that's something that may be needed. Repeat comments. Okay, so yes, I have been. So, like I said, Janice says, well, I know now that my desire for sex is still there. It ain't going nowhere. Renee said, after all I've been through and dealing with menopause, I still have a high sex drive. Janice said, some women become very intense and some women become decreased when it comes to sex, going through menopause. I asked my doctor yesterday when I went, hold on, I asked my doctor yesterday when I went, okay, Yesterday when I went in for my routine physical, I asked her how would you know if you still have the fire burning, even if you haven't had sex in a while. And hold on. Um, shit, keeps bouncing on me. And I asked her, how would you know? And still have the fire burning, even if you haven't had sex in a while. And you will be amazed of what she told me. What she told me. Hold on, amazed of what she told me. What a woman can do to know that they still feel some desire down below. Absolutely 100%. 100%. Yes, my blood work result came back. Doctor said that only thing she's really concerned about is my cholesterol level. My sugar level is okay, but it was higher than last year. But everything else, kidneys, oh, that's wonderful, Janice. And blood. So you know what you got to do to get that cholesterol down. That's an easy fix. A cholesterol is a very easy fix to get that cholesterol down. Obviously, it's taking out the salt. That's one of the probably the first biggest things that can help you with that. And then just watching what's in it, and unfortunately, I remember always going, man, ain't nobody finna look at that stuff and be following that, checking it out. Well, yeah, you have to. Actually, you have to. You need to, because you don't know. So, and as they say, intimacy doesn't have to end just because a specific part isn't cooperating. There's different ways: toys, massage, emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is something else. I don't know, baby. I don't know how, like I did before. I don't know. Why aren't they? Let's see. Hold on. Oh, well, so this is on, so I don't know. I don't know. Janice is on this page. And so these are, and Renee and Dre and all of these people are on this side, which is totally different from being on here. I'm managing my chats from my Riverside. So I've got one that I'm looking at with you guys from YouTube and Primetime Women and so on and so forth. And then I also have this page here that they've jumped over to. So I don't know, babe, but I'll just read them out loud like I had been doing. So she said, that yes, her blood work results came back. Everything looked good, except for she needs to work on her cholesterol. And so, as I was saying, you guys, there's all kinds of different things that you can do outside of just the sex act, right? It's toys, massages, intimacy, emotional intimacy. That to me is one of the best things that I just like that anyways. I think that keeps you and your partner very close together. Having that emotional intimacy, period. I don't know. She says she's doing good with walking and exercising, and I lost 4 more pounds than last time. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a great thing, Janice. Right? Yes, that's a great thing. 4 pounds, girl. Shoot, that sounds really good. I don't know. I don't know what you guys see or what you can hear. You said it's repeating. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, guys. I'm only working with what I got here, and I'm already dealing 3 different equipments. Okay, 4, including my soundboard. So just Bear with me. We're getting ready to get to the end of it too, because it's an hour and 20 just about now. So, um, you know, here's a green flag that he goes to the doctor, tries lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, or seeks therapy. That's the green flag, y'all. The red flag, he ignores the problem, blames you, or shuts down the communication entirely, leaving you to feel lonely in a sexless relationship. That is the worst kind of relationship that you ever want to be in. Oh my goodness, let me tell you guys. That is the worst kind of relationship you want to be in. Truly, it is. It is not a good feeling because it does have you guessing and making you feel like it's you, it's about you, like he's no longer interested in you. You feel like, what the hell's going down? Like, I don't understand this. Okay, great. All right, perfect. So, yeah. So it's really it's about all of that. And my menopause brain. Oh, the flags. Yeah, whether they go or they don't go. That's the blueprint basically of a man or a woman, which is being able to identify and know what's going on and is willing to actually to do something about it. Okay, so soup is good for sour soup, salt, SOP, is good for cholesterol and blood. Okay, I seen that you guys going through each other. I love that, but that's good to know. It's very good to know. Um, that is so good to know. So you guys, I'm gonna end my night with this before I sign off. Okay, I want to leave you guys with the final thought. I like to leave a final thought. So we spent the first half of the show talking about growth mindset, about a man or a woman who's willing to look in the mirror and do the work. But let's be unfiltered. I am. The ultimate test of that growth isn't how he acts when things are going well, or she when things aren't going well. It's how he or she leads when his or her body or his or her mind hits a wall. A man or a woman, a man who struggles with the erectile dysfunction isn't less than, but a man who hides from it, blames you for it, or shuts down and leaves you lonely in the bed alone, that's a man choosing stagnation over growth. A man of value understands that his equipment might fail, but the character should never. Value is found in the man who says, "This is happening. It's not about you, and I'm going to the doctors to figure it out." He doesn't let his ego become an anchor that sinks your intimacy. He realizes that a check engine light in the bedroom is an invitation to get healthy for the woman he loves and the life they're building. Ladies, don't shrink your needs to accommodate the silence. A man who won't fight for his help isn't ready to fight for your future. Choose the man who values the truth more than his pride, because that is the only man who can grow with you in every single season. Every single season, you guys. Yes, they are, Roberta. They're on a different one. And so, with that being said, you guys, you know what time it is. This has been Prime Time Unfiltered. Hold on, let me see here. Love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Praying for all. Thank you, yes. And we pray back for everyone who needs it, and sometimes we don't even realize who may need it. Every day, you guys, just give a prayer for everybody. not just for yourself and your family, but give a prayer for everybody. Just pray for everybody every day of the day. Do that. You can think about that every morning that you wake up. You're thanking God for being here, for Him allowing you to be here. Please, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like the show. Thank you. But again, yes, please, you guys, think about others when you wake up in the morning, when you're thanking God for waking up. Also, give prayers for everybody else to be able to wake up, rise, and have a good day. All right? So you know what it is. This has been Prime Time Women Unfiltered, y'all, and seasoned. Good night. Stay empowered. And we'll see y'all, you know when, next Thursday. Next Thursday. Okay, here we go.
Powered.
This show.
Powered by Riverside FM.
That's right. And with that, I'm going to leave you with my lovely I'm going to leave you with my song that I start with, y'all.
Powered
And
by
y'all, I
Riverside.
appreciate each and every last one of y'all that has tuned in tonight. I hope that I have given some good information for those that are in relationships who may be going through it. I hope that this gives you some kind of outlet way to be able to start the conversation and make your relationship great. Thank you guys. Till next week. Bye. Mwah.